everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a very simple floral design created on this green glass bottle with a fan brush. Now this is a very old brush that I'm using. It's a plaid 42719. I don't even know what the size is. The size isn't on here, but that's the number. Well, maybe it is on here, number 1. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I don't think they normally number them that way. But anyhow, it is an old brush. I'm also going to be using a number 2 Amagic paintbrush, flat brush, and then a number 2 Amagic round brush. Now all of my products that I use are listed down below, and I have affiliate links if you want to purchase them through the links. That would be awesome. I am going to be using just a few colors here because this again is just a very simple design. I'm using titanium white, berry wine, fresh foliage, thicket, and a little bit of tea berry. Alright, so to get started on this, I am going to begin by putting my fan brush just completely covering with paint, and then I'm going to stick the tips into the, this is the berry wine, and I can rotate it with that just to give it some difference, although they're kind of similar in color, so they don't really make a good or a big how do I want to say it, they don't really show a lot of difference. Okay, so I kind of slipped a little bit, but anyhow, basically you push your brush down, you pull it forward, and as you're pulling it back, you pull it up. And if you feel like it didn't get good coverage because you want it to be opaque, just go ahead and tip it back into your paint and do another one. What I'm doing is just coming around the glass, pulling it back and pulling it up. And I'm just going to do it. That one didn't do very well. It's a little bit harder to do it on the glass, but it's, you know, you get the gist. So basically you push down, pull it, and then you pull it up before you come back. With doing this type of a stroke though, it may pull the paint up, so you might want to cover it a little bit. And then just continue down, because it is going to have a, make sure I do this up and then pull it. Okay, I'm going to tip into my the tea berry a little bit. So I'm pulling it up, pulling it back, and pulling it like that. Again, just, you know, practice. It takes me a little bit of time to get the flow of it too. Again, I don't like the way this bottom part ended, so I'm going to come back up in here, pull it up, because you definitely want it to have good coverage. So you push it down, push it up a little bit, and then pull up as you go. Again, you know, if you're not getting that coverage, just tap it a little bit and it's fine. I'm going to come up here, do a little bit more up here, pull it. And I'm just kind of rotating with the tea berry like that. And I'm going to come in here a little bit because I do want it to have a little bit more opaqueness, because you just want to make sure. Now if you want it to be a little bit more whimsical, you can come over here and have some kind of heading out to the next direction. Because it is just more of a viney kind of a stem filled with flowers. And this is not to simulate any kind of flowers in particular. This is just purely a made-up flower. Again, if you feel like it, when you're looking back, if it's not exactly the way you want it, just go back over it. Not a biggie. Like this one here, I'd like it to have a little bit more color in it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to come back here and touch in with the white a little bit. Put a little bit in here. Got a little bit more white down here, so you can just touch a little bit. I just don't like when there's paint, or when there's gloss showing through the paint, I should say. Alright, so then I'm going to take my little liner brush. On this one, I don't want to set this down, but I'm just going to be sticking it into the different colors. I do the Thicket, the Forest Moss, and the Titanium White. You can use Wicker White also. I just bought what I could at the time, especially with the COVID crisis. They have not had all the colors available. Actually, the plant, I do believe, might have even been closed for a bit, so all the colors are not available that I would typically use. So I have to do what I can to get the colors at least close enough to what I would typically use on my designs. So I'm just coming through here, drawing the stems to the flowers, and then I'm going to just keep building on this because I want to make sure that these are pretty opaque so they don't come off easily or scratch off easily. And that's the main thing to keep in mind when you're painting on glass. Now, cleaning your bottles, if you're new to glass painting, make sure that you do wash them with soap and water. That you, once you're done doing that, that you go over them with rubbing alcohol, just to make sure you get all the grease and grime off of them before you proceed with painting on them. You just want your paint to adhere as best as it can so it doesn't come off easily. And I'm just going through and layering these to get good coverage. Add a little more interest to them, because just using one color typically doesn't do that for me. A lot of times on leaves and such, I'll probably use 3 or 4 colors. And the white, if you ever want to try to get your paint to be a little bit more opaque, adding a white to it as another color that you're using is perfect, because it will actually help get it to that point. Alright, so then the next thing I use this brush for, still doing the same thing, tapping into the colors, just like I showed you. And I'm going to come through here and then just do quick little pulls to attach each of these blooms to the stem. You don't have to do any fancy connections, just quick little pulls. 2 or 3 strokes typically is fine. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down below. For the purpose of my videos, I typically just paint on the front of the bottles. When I'm selling them, I actually do paint all the way around the bottles, and I sell them with lights. I do like the wine bottle, the wine cork style lights, fairy lights, and they're a good ambiance piece. Make a great gift, and they're easy for you to paint. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is create my little leaves. I'm going to come here, hit them into the colors that I want, do my blending strokes, and I'm adding a little white. I could add other colors like yellow. I was originally doing a different style. I was trying to do my little papers where I paint my design before I put it on the glass and do the videos. So I decided not to do it the way I was originally going to create them. All right, so on this one, I'm just doing a one-sided, basically leaf, where I go like this and pull it, just a simple little leaf. And I'll create them on both sides typically. Again, very simple. Now, and anytime you do a design, if you want to make it more of a bouquet and add other flowers to it or other types of leaves, you're more than welcome to do that. I just typically like to show you designs giving you an idea of what can be created. If you're a more experienced painter, you can take the ideas that I share and add to it. Because I just like for people to know that my designs aren't intended to be difficult. They're actually to encourage people to use art as some therapy. It's a great way to actually relax and get the stress off of you from the day or the weeks or the months or the years, like 2020 has been. The craziest year of my life, and I'm 59 years old, so I've never lived a year like this before. And you can, if you want it to come up into your flower, you can do that too. I don't particularly, I'm trying to just keep them very, very simple and kind of sparse. And you can just, you rotate it where you have your leaves going both directions. Now when you're painting like this, I try to just do good coverage to begin with. But once it starts to dry, you might see that it's not as, opaque as you thought initially, even with the different colors being combined. So, give it a little time. Look at it before you bake it and see if maybe you need to add another coat of paint. When you're getting ready to bake it, make sure that you have allowed it to cure for at least an hour before you place it in the oven. Always place it in a cold oven, and then you add your preheat time to your bake time. So like my oven typically takes about 20 minutes to preheat. So I'll put my glassware in there and then turn the oven on, and I typically bake mine for a total of 50 minutes. And I apologize, my furnace is getting ready to start up here. So we'll get almost done. Thanks for sticking with me. And I'll just add in one more leaf and we'll be done, guys. And maybe one more leaf. Like I said, once you do this, just sit back, take a look at it, and see if you achieved the look you wanted, and go from there. Alright, so there you go. Just something that's a loose flower, and give it a try. Very easy. Awesome piece of decor for your home. With a lot of this being open, the light should shine through really nicely on this piece. If you want, I do give a link to my shop down below. Feel free to pop over and take a look at the bottles with the lights in them. I'm not going to show that here on the video. Alright, I appreciate you stopping by. If you like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, please share this on your social network with all your family and friends. Just hit that share button underneath. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell before you leave. Thanks again, and until the next time, please stay safe and healthy, and Happy New Year!